মেন্টরশিপ সার্টিফিকেশন প্রোগ্রামের একজন অংশগ্রহণকারী হিসাবে অনেক অভূতপূর্ব বিষয় সম্পর্কে লার্নিং করলাম। সামাজিকভাবে বহু মানুষের, বিশেষ করে খেলোয়াড়দের মেন্টরিং প্রোগ্রামের সঙ্গে যুক্ত থাকার সুবাদে আরও বিশেষ কিছু জানার তাগিদে যে অংশগ্রহণ আমার ছিল তা আপনাদের সঙ্গে আজকে শেয়ার করব। নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে পরিচালিত এই কোর্সটি আপনাদেরও সাহায্য করতে পারে।
I can coach someone who is a nurse or doctor or an engineer. So coaching use their skills, coaching skills, to help people to go from point A to point B. In other words, coaching is specific. When we coach someone, the person is clear, or the person says, hey, I want to get to this, or I want to accomplish this task, or I want to fulfill my dream in this area. How can I do that? So the coach comes along and help the person to fulfill her or his own dreams or goals or objectives or vision that person have. Those are the difference. So that's why we are talking about mentorship, because it doesn't matter who you are. Because you are a person, you are a being, you can mentor other people. You can use what you have, your talents, your skills, your experience, your resources to mentor other people. Your Bible knowledge to mentor other people is based in your own experiences, in your own knowledge, in your own resources that God gave it to you. So let's go to one more question. Again, I will apologize. As I said before, we have around 43,000 people watching live this event. It's just impossible for us to answer all the questions. And for those who are on Facebook, on YouTube, we're gonna try to get some of your questions as well on YouTube. All right. So, there is any other question here, Pastor Debbie, that you may.
All right. We do, and then we have a couple of housekeeping questions that continue to come up. So let's finish up this topic. Is it right to share with my mentee some of my struggles and challenges that I experienced while growing up?
Oh yes, yes, definitely. One thing about mentorship is the ability to tell your stories and be real about the person. Not about the things that you do well, that you are great. Look at my experience. It's talk about your failures, because we learn from our failures. You want to tell other people about that, So later on, you're gonna see that Elijah mentor Elisha. And I'm sure he shared his experience. Say, hey, one day I was facing the Queen Jezebel. The other day I was running, right? I was afraid. I want to die, right? So I'm sure he was sharing this experience with Elisha about his own experience. So yes, you tell the good stories. You tell when you were able to overcome things, but also you tell your real stories. The failures that you have and things that you try to do and you were not able to accomplish. All this is part of your mentorship training experience, relationship with other people. Okay. All right. So we don't have time to too many questions.
Welcome. My name is Benita Joyner Shields. I'm an Associate Secretary of the North American Division. I first met Deborah at Camp Blue Ridge in the Potomac Conference. She was a staff member of the conference. My husband and I were attending a couples retreat. As he and I sat in the room listening to the presenter, I looked back and noticed this woman, tall and erect, exuding confidence, looking over the group as a mother hen looks over her chicks. I immediately admired her. I knew that Deborah had grown up in my home church, but because she was older than I, she had gone off to boarding academy before I got to know her. Fast forward to more than a decade later, when I arrived at the General Conference, from being a local church pastor to serving as an assistant editor of the Adventist Review magazine. Deborah arrived at the North American Division a few years prior and was serving as the vice president for ministries. I don't remember how long it was before I asked her to join me for lunch, but she readily accepted. As we ate together that day, eventually I asked her, would you mentor me? I had no clue about the ins and outs of official mentoring, what the mentor or the mentee should or should not be doing. All I knew was that I admired this woman and I wanted to learn from her. I continued. I promise I won't be a Klingon. Maybe lunch once a quarter. In her graceful voice, as those who knew her remember, she said she would be happy to. Someone has said that one of the tasks of a mentee is to keep the work of the mentor alive. I hadn't heard that before, but in that spirit, I share with you my mentoring relationship with Deborah. She understood and exemplified the value of mentoring. She embodied the relational, experiential, on-the-job training aspect of the Hebrew model of mentoring that you heard about in Chapter 1, although I'm sure she wouldn't quote that. And as an effective administrator, Deborah embraced the importance of mentoring the next generation. Deborah and I experienced probably a less formal mentoring relationship than what I'll be sharing with you in this chapter. However, the principles of mentoring were still at work. So, with the stage set, let's delve deeper into reasons to launch a formal mentoring program in your organization. A formal, successful mentorship program requires careful preparation and a long-term commitment to the mentee's growth. Long-term in this sense is between 6 and 12 months. It also requires a structured approach that connects the participants to facilitate the process of imparting knowledge and building new skills. In churches, schools, or nonprofit organizations, mentoring programs typically involve formal, one-to-one matching through which mentors and mentees benefit from productive conversations and access to career development resources. This chapter covers the steps for creating a successful mentorship program. An organization should clarify the reasons for the program before launching to ensure it fits the participants' career and personal goals. For example, you may discuss the following topics. Number 1, the importance and benefits of a mentorship program. This answers the why question. Why should I even consider a mentoring relationship? Creating videos of people who have gone through a mentoring process is a valuable way to share stories of how mentoring can impact lives. Number 2, critical considerations before starting a mentorship program can be addressed. Who will oversee the program? What is the budget? How will you attract participants? Mentorship role in promoting professional, personal, and volunteer growth is a third topic you may want to discuss. This answers the how question. How will the mentor assist their mentee with their goals and objectives? Number 4, best practices of a mentorship program. Best practices can be defined as guidelines known to produce good outcomes if they're followed. Number 5, potential challenges in starting a mentorship program. All worthy causes have challenges, in my opinion. Number 6, how the program supports the organization's mission and vision. Here at the North American Division, mentoring is a top value. Now that I've shared with you a pivotal mentoring relationship and how you can successfully begin launching a formal mentoring program in your organization, I'd like to ask you to reflect on those mentoring relationships you may have experienced. What made them impactful for you? And what are some best practices that you have learned? In our next video, I will share about the matching process, which includes the responsibilities of a mentor and mentee and how they make for a strong, impactful mentoring relationship.
All right, those two I want to put right away another presentation
where both feel comfortable and have good chemistry, compatible work ethic, expectations, knowledge, and temperament. So here are some of the responsibilities of the mentor. Number 1, maintain confidentiality. I knew what I shared with Deborah would stay with her. Number 2, be available. This relates to commitment, which we'll discuss more in Chapter 7. Number 3, empathetic listening. Listening and hearing are two different things. One can hear what another person says without truly listening. Number 4, promote responsible decision-making, allowing the mentee to develop problem-solving skills. I remember once when I was sharing with Deborah about a frustrating situation I was experiencing and what I would like to say to the other person. She calmly responded, "You may not want to say that." She was right. It would have not ended well for me. She would often ask, "Have you considered this?" or "Have you spoken with so-and-so to get their perspective?" She offered counsel, yet expected me to solve the problem. Number 5, motivate and support the mentee toward goal achievement. When I was facing a decision regarding the need to transition to another position, Deborah made some recommendations about how to proceed to accomplish that goal. I followed her recommendations, which I wisely did most of the time, and the outcome of my decision was beneficial. Number 6, conduct professional relationship within the organization's guidelines and policies. Some examples of that are equal opportunities, accessibility, professional conduct. Number 7, embody the organization's values and ethical standards. In all my interactions with Deborah, I don't remember any time in which she devalued our organization. She wasn't naive. She realized it wasn't perfect, but she understood and supported its values. Number 8, gracefully relinquish the mentor role. As I mentored one of my young church members, the time came when I knew it was time to step back and let others mentor. I had fulfilled my purpose for him. Now we'll discuss responsibilities of the mentee. Number 1, maintain confidentiality. This is just as important for a mentee as for a mentor. If a mentor cannot trust their mentee to maintain confidentiality, it's difficult to be transparent and share from their experiences. Number 2, initiate contact and meet an agenda. As a mentee, it is their responsibility to reach out to the mentor and create the agenda. It's fine to chat, that's part of getting to know each other, but respect your mentor's time by arriving prepared. Number 3, discuss issues candidly. This is where the need for confidentiality from both parties is very important, especially in a professional setting. To have someone with whom you can be candid about circumstances is quite valuable. Number 4, gather information from multiple sources. While Deborah was instrumental in my life, she was not the only person with whom I would seek counsel. Different perspectives and life experiences are needed, and thankfully I've had several people in my life to learn from. Number 5, decision-making. I know many of us, myself included, have said at one time or another, especially to God, "Please tell me what to do." However, a mentor offers guidance and counsel and shares from their experiences, but it is the mentee's responsibility to make decisions for themselves. Number 6, take action toward achieving goals. Unfortunately, I experienced a mentoring relationship in which my mentee rarely took my counsel. While a mentee is not obligated to follow the counsel, if he or she does not act on any counsel, it's a fruitless situation and a waste of the mentor's time. I acted from most of Deborah's recommendations. Number 7, maintain a professional relationship per program policies and guidelines, whatever those policies are in your organization. And number 8, plan a graceful ending to the relationship. It will prove beneficial to your relationship if you determine from the beginning your mentoring time frame. Of course, you can always extend it, but creating this boundary ahead of time saves much frustration and potential tension. Now that we've reviewed the responsibilities of the mentor and the mentee, can you identify 1 or 2 areas that you need to work on in your mentoring relationship, either as a mentor or a mentee? How do we build a solid mentoring relationship? That is the topic of our next segment.